Hi there, I'm Matt Mitchum, and I'm the designer of Brunelleschi Age of Architects.
Hi, I'm Rebecca Nickel. I'm the Unity developer of Brunelleschi Age of Architects.
And we're here to talk to you about some of the reasons that we've made Brune, what it is, why we're kickstarting it, and what we hope to accomplish. Brunelleschi is available totally free at brunegame.com. It can always be played there, and you'll find the mechanics just fully realized there such that you can make a character, experience all of the combat mechanics, go through the character creation process, um, experience the diplomacy, magic use, just really all of the things the game has to offer um, in a theoretical sense, sort of like a board game or a tabletop role-playing game. First, before before we're actually able to get the full MMORPG bootstrapped up using the Unity client.
Oh, yes, the Unity client is actually really cool. I've been working on it for about 6 months now, and the main focus is allowing characters and players mainly to model the settlements they make in the web game. In the web game, you've got virtual buildings that you build in your districts, and you can manage these, and these control your production, what objects you have to trade in the markets, and what you can build with. In the Unity client, it's really cool because you can see the buildings that you've built, at least of the models that I've made so far. We've got 20 districts right now. And you can see 3D models of the buildings you've built, and we've just added web signs to which you can manage your buildings, which we'll be looking at later.
What I'm doing here is I've just logged into the web game, and you can see that this character, Xenophon, who's the sovereign of Xenotest, is authoritative over these 5 buildings. You can see them represented here in the web game. And the downloadable client can always be found right here on IndieDB under Brunelleschi. And right now we're on version 0013.
Yes.
64-bit Windows client. 0014 is going to have Oculus Rift support back in there.
Oh, yeah.
So we're big fans of the Oculus. Anyway, I've got this settlement here with Xenophon logged into it. And then we're going to cut over to the web game, the Unity client rather, where I've got the web game loaded up, and we've successfully logged into the Xenotest character here. And we're just going to do the single district visualization because there's only one available district in the settlement, so really no reason to suffer the performance hit from doing the full settlement. As you can see, up here in the corner, really above the mini-map, we've got building text. That just shows the name of the building you're looking at. This is really useful when dealing with the Oculus client and will eventually allow for remote manipulation of the buildings. You can see the granary there, and there are the farms that have been constructed in the web game. Now the innovative new thing that Rebecca has added in, because she's really quite talented at Unity for someone who's only been working on it about 6 or 7 months.
Yeah.
As you approach these panes, they sense your presence, and they allow you to control the building in question and change the production. You can also open up the various administrative panels of the building, and then just do things like upgrade the building itself. Starting construction projects. This all goes back to the web game and does manifest in the live server. So realistically, for the first time, it is fully possible to manage a settlement, at least the buildings in a settlement, through the 3D downloadable client. And the music you may be hearing right now is the work of Alden Baker. He was generous enough to donate his work to our game. We're very appreciative of that. Rebecca, would you like to talk about any of the technologies you used?
Oh, goodness. I'm really proud to say that we're working directly with Coherent UI. We've talked to the administrators a couple of times. They've been very helpful with any problems we've had, either with the subscription or figuring out how to get our Oculus integration. I'm really excited to say, as Matt mentioned, the 14 version client will include clicking on the Coherent UI web views with the Oculus. Very thrilled.
I really enjoy the virtual reality aspects of the game. I mean, you've done amazing work in terms of making relatively simple assets that we've just been able to get free. We don't have a budget really for the game, so all of this has been made with free assets So far, our spending has basically included the hardware, and we do, of course, have to have Unity Pro in order to make use of the hardware. But we've been paying for all of that out of pocket. We don't really have any backers, sponsors, other than the ones that we're getting from Kickstarter, Indiegogo, Rocket Hub, and other crowdfunding venues. At the moment, we are up to $495 total. $494 total. 96. There we go.
96. Nice.
I
I'm
knew
glad
I'd
Marcus
get to
been
it
on
eventually. Yeah. $496 total, and we are very appreciative for every single one of those dollars, which
Yes.
we know are hard-earned and are part of limited entertainment budgets, and we do have every intention of following through on every single one of these backer rewards that anyone chooses to buy.
Well, we're already well on our way to being to finishing up a lot of the stuff in there.
Some of these are really easy to give over because they're virtual items, so we really don't have a hard time just providing these directly to players as soon as they fund or back the game. As I say, we have experienced a very, very small amount of fundraising so far.
Yeah.
We just really haven't gotten a lot of cash for this. So everything that you see, including a web game with, let's see, 30 classes, different lordship types. We have a variety of different government systems and social systems that are available within the game. The characters are very detailed and rich. We've gone to a lot of trouble. A lot of this is the work of our excellent programmer, Margaret Staples, who goes by dead_Legosi on Twitter. And she is very communicative and happy to fix bugs and help people understand this incredibly complex engine that she's designed for the game. And the engine which, having invested so many years into, really now we're able to just attach the Unity assets to the exterior of it.
Yeah, working with Margaret has been great. A lot of the integration that you see and the ability to load someone's settlement in the Unity client is based on my working with Margaret and her giving me special calls to call with Unity so that we can get all these very specific integration. I'm really happy to be working with her. She's excellent with Symphony.
She's really done a fine job in terms of mentorship. I mean, whenever you've struggled, you've just been able to go to Margaret, and she's been able to help you very quickly.
She's rubber ducked a couple of times for me and explained what that means.
Exactly. She's introducing you to the world of programming. Really, my expertise is more on the design side and with the algorithm and mathematic side of the game. I also enjoy writing. Both of us enjoy writing the descriptions. Yes. Margaret's also thrown in a bit on that. So we really enjoy our work. So far, that's been the reward that we've been able to get.
Actually, yeah.
This has been a labor of love for some time. We continue to try to work on it, even though we understand the economic realities of having a game that has, exchequers in it, and banking districts may not be exactly for everyone. We're not expecting to hit any sort of Angry Birds level of performance or sales output. That's one of the reasons why the game has an open source guarantee.
Yeah.
All of the work that you see here, 3 years after it's done, and that's also all of the work that you've done.
Actually, I'd be happy to open source it. Jeez, I've learned so much from the Unity community. I'd be happy to give anything back.
Yeah, this is entirely built. I mean, we have made this using free open source technologies for the most part, and so we are always happy to give back to the community that's been so generous and supportive to us. We really strongly believe in community-supported gaming. It's the best way to go. And so if you do access brunegame.com, what you're going to find is a community of players and developers who are really interested in collaborating.
Oh, yeah.
The entire nature of the game here is political collaboration. We're looking to see how we can stretch our minds on this project, and if anybody else is interested in taking on the challenge, they're also completely welcome. We want people to participate in this at this early phase with the knowledge that their participation is going to permanently affect the growth of the game. Eventually, when this does become free software, we are going to include all of the characters that were participating in the beta, so that people can see what players were able to build in terms of characters and settlements, using the tools that we provided for them.
Oh, I'm actually really excited watching the players build their communities. If you peek in the forums as soon as you get in, you can see them organizing their little, like, who's going to have an embargo with who's going to test this part of the game, who's going to have trading agreements so that they can trade the different things that their settlements make. I'm really hoping to eventually be able to represent that accurately in the Unity client as well, because it's an amazingly rich community of people working together. And we'd like to see a lot more people come into that so that we can get a lot more diversity in the kind of settlements put together, whether or not you share everything or the sovereign takes everything to take care of it, or if he lets people own stuff or not.
The varieties of government types that are available and other things like social systems and economic systems are really the kind of variety that we want to offer in terms of player control over the game itself. We really have no say in almost anything. We control some numbers on the back, the interface, but as a general rule, everything else within the game is completely up to the players, including the internal economics of the game. They shift in response to player actions, such that really there's not going to be an exploitable situation that maintains itself for very long. The balance of the game is always going to be responsive to player involvement. So if the players enjoy something, it will become more available to them as they enjoy it.
Right.
That's really what we believe in from a design standpoint.
Oh yeah. Like if one particular sovereign is trying to build a bunch of stuff out of slabs, suddenly slabs will be way more valuable in the market than they would be otherwise. Oh, I really like these. These were a lot of fun to make. These are the economies. These are representations of the economies, broken up in different distribution styles and by class.
Generally what you're seeing here is on the left hand of the screen, you're going to see the more authoritarian systems. On the right hand of the screen, you're going to see the more populist systems. Generally, the way I think of it is authoritarian, elitist, egalitarian, and populist there. Mm-hmm. And, of course, that left-right thing has I don't mean anything by that. That's not one of my clever
That's just how
trolls.
It pans.
It's
Yeah.
No. I'm seriously just trying to make a
game here.
Yeah. all of the commentary in the game, if you detect any sort of political agenda, these are the political agendas of writers who have been dead for 200 or 300 years. I'm not trying to say anything necessarily about the modern world so much as the origins of the modern world, like how we got into the situation that we're in very specifically. A lot of this stuff can really I'm not so much telling a story here as reciting history. To me, it's for the players to tell their own individual stories using history, using their own imagination, using fiction. It does not bother me if somebody wants to make cities of any type. If they want to rampage around the game, burning and pillaging, that's
what the game is for.
That's the game, yeah. The 1500s were not necessarily a time period fraught with international law, so the game is also not particularly policed from the top down. We don't consider ourselves even particularly to be at the top so much as to be constructing the arena in which the actual gameplay will happen. I've really enjoyed playing on test, but there aren't a lot of people over there to play with, and I don't consider it particularly ethical for me to be playing in a game that I know the mathematical formulas behind that other people might consider. They might care.
Yeah, you shouldn't get on the leaderboards, not when you're the creator.
Yeah, exactly. My character on the main server is level 1, and to me, I don't know if anybody played MUDs or anything, but back in the day, a character above level 100 was generally an immortal on a MUD.
Right.
They were that was the way that the developers could signify that they were kind of above level 100.
Right.
By staying at level 1 on the main server, I kind of want to imply that I am participating in this experiment really as much as anyone else is. A lot of these ideas have come from other sources over the years. I've looked at other games, a lot of different types of philosophy over the years to get some of these ideas. And all I'm trying to do here is arrange pre-existing colors, for example,
mm-hmm.
In a palette. It's just a way of attempting to sort of paint a picture.
Exactly.
And I really do hope that other people enjoy my work. It comes from a deep place within me. It's a major part of it. Anyway, other than the economic systems, there are societal systems that I think are really interesting. This determines how the government is selected. So it basically determines the level of enfranchisement.
Oh, yeah.
And players will have to deal with the dichotomy there between having complete control over their settlements and anyone wanting to live in their settlements. Obviously, the more populist and egalitarian will be more popular.
Right? But you know, sovereigns who want to take care of everything, who want to manage every building's upkeep so that nothing deconstructs, so they won't want to give anything to their people, they want to hold on to it so they can manage it.
That's sort of the game, right? A relentless battle against chaos and entropy, conducted by those who want to construct some sort of order, but we've left a lot of possibility for people to sow disorder. We have no problem with criminal actions. The game is not in any way leveraged against behavior that some people might call hostile. They might call it trolling. They might call it griefing. We call it gameplay.
Yeah.
And we've put in the mechanics to defend yourself. Certainly, you can hunt people down in the wilderness, murder them if you want to.
You can duel them. You can...
Absolutely. You can slander them in public and ruin their reputation, making it more difficult for them to run their cities.
I'm really excited that this is actually an effective social simulator.
That's the game that I wanted to make. There are a lot of different forms of conflict and competition and cooperation that can occur in an MMO, and I really just like to focus on that. To me, it's the systems of organizational cooperation and conflict that make the games interesting. I'm trying my best to share that with players. I know that a lot of this is really rough work. We are not under the delusion that this looks like the CryEngine. Okay?
I made this in 6 months. I'd never touched programming or Unity before that. That's kind of the point. It's really exciting what's come about when I started with, like, what's a cube? How do I move it?
Yeah, I mean, we work with the technology that we can afford. We are not affluent people. We don't have a lot of resources. What we're trying to say with this is that this is what is possible. That's all that we feel should be expressed here, is that it's possible for us to create this even with a really limited amount of fairly out of date computer equipment, even without a world of knowledge and ability. And we hope that any success that we experience would be inspiring to others, because this is something that people say you can't do.
Yeah.
I mean, they say you can't bootstrap an MMO.
So we're trying.
So we're trying to do it. That's part of it for us. And one way that you could help us do that is you could join us at Kickstarter, where we definitely have the ambition, if you believe in our project, if you believe that we can fulfill on these goals, then we really hope that you would share just $1, $5, really anything with us. It helps us a lot. The motivational power of having people believe in our project is really big for us.
Yeah.
I mean, we intend to sell this. This is not... it may be based on the works of a guy who made a cathedral, but we don't have wealthy patrons. This is something that we want to give back to the community. And ultimately, we're going to create it and give it back to the community, no matter what happens.
Yeah.
So what we're really hoping for is that the community will tell us specifically what it is that they like about this, if anything. Is any part of this more interesting or less interesting? We're really hoping for feedback. That's...
Yeah.
I mean, obviously we enjoyed this enough to spend 3 years just kind of working on it.
Yeah, I've been writing descriptions for this long before I was even part of the team. Like...
Yeah, no, we appreciate everybody who contributes and supports the project. We give credit where credit is due. A lot of people have helped with this over the years. It may only be a few of us now, but there used to be more people on this team. I certainly did not create any of this art, but that's not what I do.
Oh God, yeah.
Some of this stuff is really amazing, and I consider it to have been an amazing gift, and that it's my responsibility to do my absolute level best to make sure that this product hits market. And so I'm going to do that. And if you'd like to support that, and if you'd like to get on in on some early backer rewards, oh man, did we make some early backer rewards? You remember that week, right?
Oh my God, there's more than 100 backer rewards. We really like you guys, and we'd really like you to come play our game. We'll give you lots of shiny stuff for it.
That is no joke. people who used to play in my D&D games kind of would accuse me of running Monty Hall campaigns, but I really like to give away a lot of treasure. It's just the way that I play.
Yeah.
We've made deconstruction a big part of the game so that you can get rid of anything that you don't need. Loss of equipment and items is a big part of the game. So we just wanted to make sure that everybody could get really anything that they wanted. We've set up pirate packs, teamster packs, arcane packs, gondolier packs, drovers packs, everything in any role within the game. We really thought that in this early stage, when it's kind of difficult to determine a role that you might want to play, that we could put in routes that
Oh,
people
yeah.
could take.
And once you pick, you can roleplay the crap out of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Go for it. Yeah, you want to talk about role-playing? Absolutely. Feel free.
Oh, God. Okay,
Doesn't
so
bother me.
one of the really exciting things about Brunelleschi is actually the opportunity to roleplay. I've been into roleplaying since I was pretty young, where you choose a character and you pretend to be them for a good long time. Most people think about RPGs, but it's really possible, especially with forum games. You can talk to your friends in long bouts of text that aren't in your voice, but are in your like inner character voice, right? So I particularly like the Oracle because she's this wild creature who's half caster, half commander, which means that she can beat the shit out of you and cast evil spells at you at the same time. It's really cool. But gathering the we started with a lot of really good portraits, and gathering the extra portraits from historical portraits that we could use was a lot of fun. It was very inspiring. The female wizard, I think, is very interesting. She has this huge hair, and you wonder who she is and what court this very fancy female wizard might be from. Imagining who you are. If you look in the role-playing, but actually most of the role-playing in our Brunelleschi forums right now is in the trading and alliance section of the forums, because that's mostly what you have to role-play when you're a bunch of sovereigns of great cities who are trading important pieces that you'll need to build your settlements.
Alliances and wars and diplomacy and that sort of thing take up a major portion of the game, because as we built it, we did build the game from the ground up. And the ground in this game is definitely the settlement. Playing Brunelleschi is all about your settlement that you live in. And the sizes and scope of these settlements can get a little bit crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see about running through Enkarokia.
Oh goodness, district by district.
District by district, yeah. Yeah, we're not gonna set the PC on fire while we're trying to shoot a video.
Alright, so they got a fairly small fields right now.
Kelleran has not logged in a while, so Enkarokia is falling apart. I have moved there because it is a relatively large settlement. Remind me if I hit M. Yeah, there we go. I believe he has a town square, so let's pop over there and see.
If not, we'll just end up in a nice, clean, empty district map. Here we go.
Mm-hmm. He really must have stockpiled some sandstone for all
goodness.
of those cottages to still be alive.
Yeah.
I have to assume that his settlement is running to some extent on automation at this point, which means he was a good sovereign. The simple fact of the matter is that this game is it gets more and more difficult as you move up through the ranks. As you add more ranks to your settlement.
Oh god, it gets impossibly complicated. You can't run a settlement all on your own really effectively. You gotta get ministers, or your brain will explode.
It is a feat. With automation, infinite platinum, bots, I cannot run a settlement of above about rank 9. It's like scanners. I just feel like my head's gonna pop.
I haven't gotten above rank 3. It's hard.
Yeah, the interlocking, and I'm telling you, that's with cheat codes. That's with me being able to pop into the database and
just say... alone, it's just too many factors. That's why it's a social game. It's because if you're trying to be Lord of all things, you still have to delegate in order to handle everything.
Mm-hmm. So this game is about friendship, it's about delegation, it's about politics. It may be about working with your enemies, diplomacy.
Mm-hmm. If your enemy has all the sandstone and you need it.
The bonds within the game are a major factor of the game.
Yeah.
Romance, relationships, illicit love, public love, bonds of tutelage, of fealty, of friendship.
Oh, yeah. There's all sorts of things.
Oh, yes. And these have an impact on how you're socially perceived. if you are, if your friends are moving up in the world, obviously you move up to some extent with them. If you marry well in the 1500s, that's one of the most important possible things.
Oh, yes.
Spouses in the game share a great deal of experience, importance rather.
Yeah.
Between one another. Importance is used to advance in the rank part of the game. Yeah. Oh, feel free. Go ahead.
Oh, absolutely. But actually, it's really fun. The bonds also really helps with the role-playing aspect of it, because I see now how on Facebook everybody got really into posting what their relationship status was with people. This is different because you can have a different relationship status with, well,
you can have lovers, secret lovers.
Right, you can have lovers and secret lovers. You can list someone. You can
adultery.
You can get yourself married to someone. You can get yourself handfasted to someone. Then you can have a secret lover. Then you can run around behind them. You can.
Same-sex marriage is possible, but not easy. It's the 1500s, so things like same-sex marriage, they are in the game, but I'm not going to tell you how to get them. You're going to have to figure it out.
Yeah, it's a dangerous time period.
That's the whole point of the game. Is there's a lot of stuff hidden up in here. I
really like the grocery.
I think some of it is interesting political commentary. I think some of it is interesting historical commentary. We've modified the time period.
Just a little.
Just a little bit. We've implied that magical power exists. It's the mythic renaissance. In order to be more of the kind of RPG that we enjoy playing.
Oh yeah. So, girls have exactly the same amount of rights as boys. Male character, female character, doesn't matter. You progress through the game the same way.
The Catholic Church, the Celtic Church, those are considered to be roughly equal within the somewhat storyline of the game. I guess you could call that a storyline, right?
Kind of. It's a time period storyline.
It's a bit of an alternate world. It's a lot like Earth, but without a lot of the pre-existing notions that were around at the time, like gender relations, race relations.
To a certain extent, magic.
Again, the existence of magic does level a lot of playing fields.
Yeah.
So we've just theorized a time period in which more of the old faiths, the Norse faiths, Celtic and Irish faiths survived, and we've allowed people to play a huge variety of religions. The religion screen is really one of the more interesting aspects. Of character creation here. If you want to see. What's the total list? We've got Hindu, Catholic, Buddhist, Zoroastrian, Agnostic, Animist, Atheist, Jewish, Norse, Shia, Sunni, Greco-Roman, Orthodox, Celtic, Pagan, and Protestant. And a lot of these were entirely anachronistic for the time period in a non-mythic setting. But with the mythic setting, I mean, really,
anyone can show up.
People are free to be whatever they want.
Yeah, you can be the Buddhist barbarian if you can work that into your philosophy
that doesn't bother me. I think I really enjoy seeing somebody play a Buddhist barbarian. Yeah, that would be fun. We've thrown in cultures that would have been available in Europe at the time period, and we had to pick and choose on this. This is basically where we've started to run out of the financial wherewithal to continue to add features to the game. I would love to do the entire planet, believe me, but we can't afford it. So it just comes down to being that simple. At some point in the last year or so, we had to stop adding new features to the game because otherwise it was never going to be finished. And as we've started rounding off and hitting 50%, we're really starting to close off
the design.
The design, yeah. I mean, I would say it's design locked at this point for the most part. But that doesn't mean that the stretch goals aren't considered part of the design lock.
Oh, they're totally in there if you check out the design document, which is pretty.
Well, I don't know if anyone will understand this, and certainly I have not gotten great feedback on the concept. But what I wanted to try was the idea of shooting for a low target number. This is to represent what I believe to be our humility and our frugality. We have the ability to finish this game as it is. It's not going to be easy.
If we have to.
Yeah, we can patch holes in our socks. It doesn't bother us that much. We'd like to have a few more resources, but wouldn't everyone?
Yeah.
So when it comes right down to it, the $300 target number is our way of saying that what we would really like is we'd really like people to play the game. We'd really just like to know that you support us. If you support what we're doing, if you think that this would be fun, a single dollar would be, I would be grateful forever. It's just that simple.
It's your vote that it's a game worth playing.
That's the main thing that it means to us. Is in a society like ours, we believe that it's possible for a person to vote with their dollars. And
Yeah.
that's kind of how it works these days.
Capitalism, yeah.
And again, we've studied these things, and we're supportive of that. If you support our project, showing us with a little bit of money would be a fantastic way to do so. And these are the things that we would use it for. Up to $2,000, of course, we're just going to use it to market, advertise, and finish the game. The main thing that we lack, because of the way that we live, is we don't have a lot of ready cash, and Google doesn't. Google AdWords doesn't accept barter. They don't really need anything from us other than money, and we don't really have any.
No
So,
chickens for them.
yeah, exactly. We can't code for them. We can't write them a story or sing them a song. So we really don't have a lot of cash with which to order things like ad buys. And the fact of the matter is that without some ad buys, without a little bit of polish, without some assets, the game probably isn't going to reach a very wide audience.
Yeah.
We don't have the ability to market it ourselves. We're going to try all sorts of different things. We're going to stand with Brunelleschi signs on the side of the road, but there's only a few of us.
There's only a few of us.
In the modern world, the main thing that would be beneficial up to about $2,000 would be just, we'd have to be able to advertise.
Yeah. Oh, it's been kind of fun working at the advertising where we had some gift cards briefly for Google AdWords and got to play with that, got to learn how it works. And we did actually get some picked up traffic at that point. It was really nice.
We've experimented with these things. We're by no means experts. We definitely take a lot of feedback on things like that. Our specialties are in art and programming and design, not so much PR and marketing.
Oops.
So things like making videos and producing trailers and advertisements. We are just really starting to dip our toes into the water.
Yeah. So, I mean, you think about games that are put out for advertising's sake. We're basically the exact opposite of that. We have almost no advertising ability or experience, but we really, really want to get this quality game out to people.
Yes, indeed. As many people as possible in as many different languages. We're strong believers in localization. We want to make sure that everybody can play this game. That's one of the reasons why we've set up so many stretch goals. We would, of course, appreciate support, but we're not trying to say that we'll be upset if we don't get this. We don't have some sort of fantasies that we're going to be getting millions of dollars. This is both an art game and it's a history game. It's educational technology. It's, as I said before, it's not Flappy Birds and it's not Five Nights at Freddy's.
No.
And we're aware of that. We're not in any sort of delusional fantasy world where we think that our delusional fantasy world is going to be anything other than popular among a small number of people, right?
But we'd like people who appreciate intellectual games with lots of stats and a lot of role-playing opportunity, who maybe appreciate some city simulators, who really like SimCity 4, as well as the Muds and the Door games.
Oh yeah, Tropico, Renaissance Kingdoms, E-Republic, Evany, Sivany, whatever.
If you like building cities.
Yes. Or if you like the idea of living in a city where your vote might matter within a virtual world. See, the other thing is that we want this to be a real MMORPG.
Right.
We want to have the same kind of, maybe not farmable mobs, but, farmable actions. It's gonna be a hybrid between a web game and a normal MMO in a lot of ways.
Eventually, the 3D client should integrate things like actions, so heroes can run around and hack things, and while performing actions that will benefit their sovereigns indirectly by the items they get from their actions, but they can actually be playing a game without having to worry about managing the settlement. But we do actually need a lot of players in order to really get the simulation going. You've played SimCity 4, it gets big.
We need about 1,000 players. It's not a huge amount. And the thing is to remember that we only need about 20 or 30 of those players to be playing a lot.
That's true.
This game is designed for the casual player. It may not seem like it.
Not at first.
We certainly understand that. We haven't put the outside on it. So, it doesn't have the bodywork.
Exactly.
Right now you're staring directly at the engine. You're staring directly at all of the components.
You don't see the little avatar going, hooah! Hooah!
we haven't gotten that part done yet. And we understand that that's what makes games fun for a lot of people. What we're hoping right now by getting the word out is that people who enjoy a good tabletop role-playing game, people who tried to play Ars Magica, pen and paper, we're we're hoping maybe other game designers will come in. We don't have any objection
great.
to having people critique our work.
No, we love it.
We would like our work to be critiqued. If you have anything to say about any of the work that we've done, we want to hear about it, because this is all, you know, for the audience. That's why we made it.
Yeah.
Anyway, this video is probably way too long. 34 minutes.
Good fucking
Wow.
Lord.
Yeah, we can ramble on, that is for sure. One last thing I wanted to say, just on an entirely personal note, is that our hope is that we will be able to finish these games and make them for our children.
Yes.
That's one of the things that we want to do. We want to get married and have children and be artists together. This certainly isn't the only kind of game that we want to make. We have in fact made another game together called EFN. You can find that on the Google Play Store entirely for free.
Yeah.
Rebecca whipped that up in about 3 weeks to a month. And
hand-drawn cake eating.
Yeah, if you want to see some of our other work, EFN, that's this one on the list here, was definitely created.
That's so crazy. I did that concept art, and well before I did the game. Seriously, check it. It's funny. It's funny.
We enjoyed it. We enjoyed making it, and we've released it for free. Just like this game is going to be released totally for free, 3 years after everything is made. So 3 years after you could create a building, for example.
Oh, totally.
That building asset becomes totally free open source, available for commercial reuse, modification. We're probably going to go with the GPL on that, but as the specific date approaches, we'll be much more specific about the license.
Yeah.
Let's see. We started. We opened the beta on January 11th of this year, so that means that it would be January 11th of 2017 is when that server will go live, and that's version 0.2. That would become totally free open source and available for anyone to modify in any way. So if you want to see our code, if you want to see my work, the design, all of that, that's, like I say, you don't have to pay for this game in order to get it. And I hope that won't totally kill the sales here. Obviously, we do have every intention of continuing on with this. At the moment, the Kickstarter is at about $108 out of about $300. And we are really, really appreciative of that.
Yes,
every
absolutely.
gamer that has put in a single dollar, you have no idea what that is.
Yeah.
I mean, that's everything to us.
We care.
It's what we do. But if this is unsuccessful, the game will still go on. We are going to set up a Patreon if we go open source, as that is the preferred mechanism for.
Because we'd really like to keep the game free.
And free in every possible way. We don't intend on ever selling anyone's data. We will not ever release any information from inside the game to any specific closed source. However, it should be noted that we will release information about all of the actions taken in the game, all the forum posts and that sort of thing. That's going to be freely available for everyone forever. So, anyway, that's Brunelleschi in the incredibly short run time of about 38 minutes. If you've watched this far into the video, we really incredibly appreciate your interest in the project, and we hope that you will come find other videos on YouTube under the Brunelleschi channel, and that you will check out brunegame.com, and that you will visit us at IndieDB. Any or all of those, however much of your time you would care to spend on our project, we would appreciate. Rebecca, you got anything else?
Blood for the Blood God.
You almost managed to get that out. I think Corn's going to be alright with that one.
Corn don't hurt me.
There you go.